Hello and welcome to Asia Now. In this video, I'll tell you about 2 foreigners arrested in the Philippines for theft. Several Cebu businesses still use plastic straws despite ban. A Cebu real estate expert says there's no shortage of condo buyers. It's just an inventory mismatch and the usual chaos from Thailand. Starting with today's USD to peso exchange rate, right now $1 equal to 58.55. Here's our main story. The Bureau of Immigration announced that they arrested 2 South Korean fugitives in the Philippines who will be deported to face charges in their home country. The first guy, Choi Won-chul, arrested in Manila. He faces charges of embezzlement and fraud in South Korea. Choi allegedly stole over $170,000 from customers while working as a car dealer in 2008. He is currently in custody pending resolution of the local case. And then the second guy, Lee Ji-won, arrested in Cebu. He is accused of robbery. Lee and an accomplice allegedly took money from an ex with an axe, causing serious injuries and forced the victim to transfer $6,800. Both men classified as undesirable aliens will be deported and banned from re-entering the Philippines. Another couple bad peoples in the Philippines. By bad, I mean undesirable aliens, according to Philippines law, and looks like they're going to be deported back to the home country. And then several businesses in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, particularly milk tea shops, continue to use plastic straws despite a city ordinance banning them since 2019. This has raised concerns about the environmental impact, as plastic waste contributed to the deaths of at least 6 sea animals, including turtles and dolphins in 2014. To address this, the City Environmental and Natural Resources Office is intensifying efforts through inspections, community awareness programs, and urging businesses and consumers to switch to eco-friendly alternatives like paper straws. Penalties for violators range from fines to business closures. I'm a little bit conflicted about this plastic straw business going around for the past decade or so. A part of me wants to go ahead and be a positive impact on my environment, on my society, for the animals and all that. But then the I guess more logical side of me asks the questions, am I really making an impact with my paper straw? I can't even sip out of a cup, but these other people fly private jets, and like I feel like they're targeting a very small percentage. And you might say, well, it's not just you, it's everybody, so if everybody does their part. But if you're going to use that logic, you have to basically use the same logic with the bigger things, right? So those things continue to happen still. It's not like all of us against one private jet being flown around the world or whatever else, like carbon footprint, all that stuff. I think it's a scam, to be honest. Those airlines charging me an extra $1 to somehow save the environment, it makes no sense to me. If somebody's a scientist out there wants to explain to me, please educate me. But deep down, I feel like this is all essentially just a way for the department to exist, for people to try to make a difference, but I don't know if it's actually practical or making any difference. I'm open to your suggestions or your theories. Which side do you fall on? I'm sure one of you guys, or a lot of us, are either on one side or the other. No place for obviously arguments, but I want to know, give me a good reason to continue using mushy straws while Starbucks makes billions of dollars or millions, I don't know how much, off all the other stuff, but yet I doubt they pay anything when it comes to environmental. It's a whole thing that I don't want to get into any more than I already have. And next up, Anthony Lotario, a Cebu-based real estate expert, highlighted that the oversupply in Metro Manila's real estate market is due to mismatched inventories, not a lack of buyers. Developers often rely on flawed market studies that overlook buyers' financial capacity and preferences, leading to high-cost projects in unsuitable locations. To address this, Lotario urged developers to focus on unbiased market research, allocated more resource to economic and middle income projects, and tap into overseas Filipino market, which sent $28 billion in remittances in 2024. He emphasized the importance of creating diverse property options that meet the needs of both local and overseas buyers.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
You sure about that? Unbiased? A real estate agent saying there's no problem? Yeah, I guess this guy says that yesterday or the day before we talked about the oversupply of condos, which is now at 36 months behind. So let me know, what do you guys think? Which do you believe? Do you think there's an oversupply of condos in the Philippines, especially in Manila area? Or do you think this real estate expert is right about just a mismatch of inventory? Next up, AirAsia Philippines, in partnership with the Department of Tourism, is working to make the Philippines a more Muslim-friendly travel destination. Recognized as the country's first Muslim-friendly airline, AirAsia offers halal-certified meals on all its flights, including new dishes like beef rendang with chicken pastel inspired by Davao's tribal cuisine. These efforts aim to attract more Muslim tourists and ensure inclusivity. I can't even say that word. Inclusivity. AirAsia also plans to expand domestic routes to boost tourism, while its Santan brand served over 535,000 meals in 2024, reflecting growing demand. The initiative aligns with DOT's strategy to cater to Muslim travelers' needs and promote diverse halal compliance culinary options. Now, just yesterday we talked about DOT might having a hard time to go ahead and meet their target when it comes to tourism. This is just another way to go ahead and try to attract some Muslim travelers to the Philippines. It's a good thing, I guess. Any improvements to go ahead and try to cater to some dietary restrictions is a positive in my opinion, although I would like to see the actual numbers of increased Muslim tourists coming to the Philippines just based off of halal meals on a flight that's probably 2 or 3 hours total if they're coming from Malaysia or Indonesia or something like that. Leave your comments down below. What do you think of this move by AirAsia and DOT? Do you think it's good, bad? Anything you want to share regarding any of the story we talked about, please write it down below. Staying with travel, the Japanese embassy in Manila has advised Filipino tourists going to Japan to submit their visa applications at least 2 months prior to their trip. Whoa, it sounds like this that I'm very grateful to be holding a Canadian passport. It's very strong. Only a few countries that I've been to so far require a visa, at least prior to my actual departure. So Filipinos, if you're going to Japan, please make sure you give yourself enough time to go ahead and get that visa. I know it's difficult sometimes leaving the country as well, like we saw with so many women in the comment section actually talking about being offloaded, and you don't want to give anybody any additional reason to not go ahead and make your vacation or your job or any trip to Japan come true. And with some more local travel news and transportation news, I should say, dozens of Jeepney drivers and supporters of the transport group Manibela protest outside the Office of Land Transportation Franchising Board on Monday to call on Secretary Guades to hear their concerns regarding the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program, specifically the proposed 5-year franchise renewal for public utility jeepneys instead of the current 1-year renewal. This is still going on when it comes to Jeepney modernization. There's a lot of paperwork involved, obviously franchising and the changing stuff, and locals want to keep it the way it is and not to go ahead and follow through with a 5-year plan. Then let's jump to Thailand for some Thai news. Polish man allegedly flees with valuables after Phuket encounter. A Thai woman has issued a warning about Polish man who allegedly stole her valuables after they met in Phuket nightclub. The pair spent the evening together and later went to a hotel. The next morning, the woman discovered that both the man and her belongings were missing. Although the exact value of the loss has not been revealed, the incident has fueled online discussions about crime and safety in Phuket, with many calling for stricter measures to protect both locals and tourists. Not often you hear the story where the man is the thief, he's the one waking up and gone in the AM. So this time, I guess the tables have been turned, not to make fun of this woman's or hardship, but just, yeah, not very often you hear a guy running away with women's belongings. But I guess criminals don't discriminate. In a dramatic rescue that took place near Rachel Island when a catamaran Emery 888 began sinking with 38 passengers, including tourists and crew on board. The vessel, which departed from Chalong Pier for a day trip, started taking on water just 1.6 nautical miles from the island northern coast. Swift action by Phuket Tourist Police Marine Rescue Center and nearby speedboats ensured everyone was brought to safety. Fortunately, all passengers equipped with life jackets escaped unharmed. Authorities are now investigating the incident, with initial findings suggesting possible structural or mechanical failure. Thank goodness to see a positive outcome. Yeah, the ocean is unforgiving. A lot of times, yeah, the waters can be very rough, and sometimes things like this happen. It's always important to ensure you have some life jackets on board, and not for everybody, right? So whenever you go on any kind of trip, I recommend you have some kind of exit plan wherever you are. In case something does go wrong, you can quickly access like a life jacket, or just be aware of your surroundings. Hopefully that 3 or 4 or 5 seconds can save your life. Next up, let's go back to Cebu at SM specifically. Sinolug is back in the city. Cut and style your festive outfits at Island Souvenirs Sinolug Playground. Find local gifts and delicacies at the AweSM Fiesta Fair. Embark on gastronomic adventures at Streets of Cebu. Light up the dance floor at the AweSM Cebu Groove Grounds. Pose with festive ready friends at Bear Festival Meet and Greet. Make musical waves at the Beats Capade Boombox. Groove and sway the drum. I'm not reading the weird written kind of whatever. But anyways, SM Seaside and SM City, they got a whole bunch of stuff going on, so check it out if you're in the city for the next week. And then the oldest human being in the world is Sister Ina Canavaro Lucas, a 116-year-old nun from the Brazilian state of Rio Grande do Sul, who was born on May 27, 1908. May she live a very long time. And that's it for this video. It's time for a segment Yesterday Today, where I go ahead and read some of the most popular comments regarding our previous video. And I'd like to start out by thanking Paul, who bought me 20 coffees, and Andrew for buying me a coffee. And no, that's not deja vu. It's the exact same two people who bought me the exact same amount of coffees during yesterday's video. And if you guys want to show some extra support, you can go ahead and buy me a coffee as well. Here's our top comments. Bewitch Hunter says the world is too small for lawbreakers. If they don't get caught early, maybe one day in the future they'll be caught. Just like the old man. He thinks he can hide in the Philippines? No way. There's criminals hiding for years and still get caught. There's no safe place on earth for lawbreakers or criminals. This is the truth. Alex, another helpful news that we seldom hear on regular channels. Thanks and keep up the Asia Now news. Brian says these guys complaining about Cebu not registering their reassembled vehicles should have done their homework before buying. There is a huge market of rebuilt vehicles in the Philippines. Many are reassembled by unlicensed rebuilders, and that is where the problem occurs. You must verify the rebuilder has a national license and that the vehicle is legal, and Cebu will allow you to register it. Bought a 7-month-old car with 2,900 kilometers on it for 60% off the MSRP, plus LCO was already paid for on it. And those were some of the top stories from around Asia, mainly the Philippines and Thailand, and some of the top comments. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Yeah, not very often you hear a guy running away with women's belongings, but times must be tough in Poland. I don't want to say that. No, let me take that back before I get canceled.